It taught me those design concepts that I keep talking about, but I also think it gave me a lot of comfortability with the medium. I don't think I was comfortable working with charcoal in the way that I felt like I was once I finished with the workshop. And I've been using charcoal a lot more since, and I've had more successful pieces with charcoal, I think directly because of that workshop. My name is Fetrow. I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota, in the United States. And I've been coming to Angel Academy of Art for a year and a half. I learned a lot more about figure when I first got to Angel Academy of Art, because that's part of their curriculum. And then I ended up taking Krasimir's workshop to kind of put myself in a better position for the terms moving forward. I wanted to join the workshop because I felt like even though I was learning on how to draw figures, I didn't feel like I was getting the design principles that I was looking for. I feel like when you are doing a figure drawing, recording the information and drawing the information exactly as you see in front of you isn't enough to make an effective drawing. I think it's really important to conceptualize and to actually focus on the design of the figure. And Krasimir's workshop helped me a lot with designing and composing the figure as opposed to just repeating or recording the information that was directly in front of me. And that, I think, is what makes the most effective figure drawings. I had a really good experience with the workshop. I think that Krasimir is an excellent teacher. He gave very detailed and specific instruction on how to improve and what things to change. I didn't feel like I was left at the end of critiques confused as to what he was telling me, and that's really important. I think specificity is super important when you're getting feedback. I also think that he was instructive but supportive in a way that it didn't feel like I was ever being torn down for the mistakes I was making. And I think that what stood out the most was his knowledge when it came to design. It didn't feel subjective, it felt very objective. It felt very much like he knew what he was saying and talking about, and it helped me to understand why I was making the decisions I was making when I was drawing. Yeah, I think towards the beginning of the workshop, we did an exercise where we broke down some barg drawings, but we broke them down by the design concepts that Krasimir taught us. So separating the image up into a construct that had parallel lines and had a gesture behind it. I think that exercise was really helpful because it made me look at a drawing that I already knew was successful and already had good design and break it down into the pieces that made it successful so I understood how I could apply that in my own drawing. I think that since I've done the workshop, I think that my drawings have actually become faster, and I think it's just because I have more familiarity and I became more comfortable with figure drawing during the workshop. But I also think that when you look at my figure drawings now compared to before I did the workshop, I think that they're more visually appealing and that they have better gesture and they have better design as opposed to just being almost like a photo, like a copy or a stiff image of a human being. The second half of the workshop was a long pose. It was a 1 week pose, and I think that was a really good experience for me because I think it was the best figure drawing I had done up to that point by a pretty large margin. And it taught me those design concepts that I keep talking about, but I also think it gave me a lot of comfortability with the medium. I don't think I was comfortable working with charcoal in the way that I felt like I was once I finished with the workshop. And I've been using charcoal a lot more since, and I've had more successful pieces with charcoal, I think directly because of that workshop. So most recently, I just did a portrait of my friend, and that portrait was done for a Nitram charcoal ad, and they just published that in a magazine, and I'm also submitting that one for competitions. And I don't think I would have been able to produce that piece at that quality if I didn't have the comfortability with charcoal and with working with that medium in the way that I learned from Krasimir's workshop. I When I finally finished the drawing from the workshop, I felt a lot more pride and relief in the finished product than I'd had in any of the drawings I did before. I felt like I'd learned a lot, and I felt like I was a lot more competent. I felt like more confident in my ability to move forward and produce work that was going to be successful. I think that in the workshop, one of the challenges I faced was moving efficiently as you work, but also remaining accurate and being okay with your mistakes and then correcting them as you continue to move forward, so that you still at the end have a convincing and accurate drawing, but also you're not taking an exceptionally long time to finish it. Getting more comfortable with charcoal as a medium, the design principles that you learn in that workshop apply to every other medium. So I'm also working with paint now for figure, and I'm still greatly benefiting from what I learned in Krasimir's workshop within that medium as well. I don't think that the drawing or the painting is in any way possibly successful if you don't apply some element of design, if you don't apply some intentionality to it. And I think that after this workshop with Krasimir, I think that I have a lot more intentionality in the way I design my figures. Ultimately, that's the most important thing you can apply to a figure drawing, is your ability to design, your ability to capture a movement or a gesture or an idea, as opposed to just copying what you see. I would absolutely recommend the workshop to anybody who's interested in drawing people, whether that be figure or even for portraiture. I think there are design elements that apply. And I think that if you are interested in furthering your understanding of those design elements, you should absolutely be interested in taking the workshop. I think that you need to come into it understanding that you do have to put the effort in behind it too. And I think as long as you're putting the effort into the work, I think that you're going to reap the benefits of it. And I know that Krasimir is going to be there to help push you and push your understanding of those design principles and of the technique application as well. I am really complimentary of Krasimir's teaching style. I think that he's an excellent teacher. The program starts from a very digestible place at the beginning, where you start with a lecture just talking about the design principles and introducing them to you, and how they were applied in the 19th century, when we really started seeing figure drawings rise in popularity. And it works through the method to design an effective figure step by step in a way that I think is easy to follow. It progresses at a good pace as well too. It doesn't ever feel like it's moving too slowly. It doesn't feel like it's moving too fast, and it leaves you in a position by the end of that first week to already jump into a full figure drawing. I mean, not on your own, with Krasimir, to apply those principles. And Krasimir is there with you the whole time. He's doing the exercises with you. He's also working on his own figure drawing with you as you're working on yours. So it's helpful to be able to look and see how he works and how he's applying those principles, while he is also, interacting with you and talking to you about what he's doing and what's working for him and what's not working for him. And then he'll walk around and he'll look at your drawings, and he will do the same thing for your drawings that he's doing on his own. He'll tell you what's working, he'll tell you what's not working, he'll tell you what needs to be pushed, what needs to be improved. And he always does it in a way that is constructive and is helpful and doesn't ever feel demeaning. It always feels very supportive and is always very specific. So it pushes you into a direction that improves your work very quickly.
Thanks for watching this conversation with Frank. You can find the link to Frank's Instagram page in the description below. If you're interested in joining, you can find all the details and sign-up information at krasimirmarinov.com. You can also visit angelacademyofart.com to learn more about the Academy and access the registration form. All relevant links you can find in the description below. For updates, insights, and behind-the-scenes content, follow me on Instagram, where I'll be sharing more about the workshop and the artistic process. I look forward to working with many of you this summer in Florence, from June 23rd to July the 4th, as we explore the rich tradition of academic figure drawing. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you very soon.